Hi there. You are getting ready to do a Zoom call or a Zoom interview, or maybe you're doing a Q&A with yours truly. This is a video checklist that will walk you through the steps to make sure that your shot setup is where it needs to be. And we'll touch a little bit on delivery as well. So the first thing that I would like to talk about is where your camera is. Your camera, whether it is an internal or external webcam, needs to be right at eye level or very slightly above. The reason for this is severalfold. Number one, when you are speaking, whether you are on a Zoom call, whether you're creating a video, talking to a client or a potential client or a teammate, you want to make sure that when you're speaking, you're looking at them in the eyes, which means looking right at that camera lens, not looking down into the monitor, which has the effect of making it look like you're not willing to look the person to whom you're speaking in the eye. One of the easiest ways to remind yourself to look into the camera is to make sure that that camera level is exactly where it needs to be. Additionally, having that camera right at eye level is a more flattering shot. We've all seen these. That's never a good look unless you are interested in my ceiling. And we've also seen these where people are looking down their nose into the camera at you. None of those are good places to be. Let's talk a little bit now about framing. And framing basically means where you are in that video shot. I like to talk about the rule of thirds. 3 equal spaces in your video box. You should generally be, provided there's nothing going on in the background that requires otherwise, in the middle of your shot. It's a great way for you to take up space, and taking up space and filling that shot lends itself to your authority and lends itself to your credibility. Please don't be the person that's peeking out from sort of the bottom of the screen and it's just their head sitting on the bottom of that video box. And also, don't be the person who's sitting so far away from the camera that you can't really see into their eyes. And there's a whole bunch of dead space going on around them. By dead space, I mean space that is not filled with you. What does that mean when it comes to headroom? It means there should be a minimum of headroom, and that is the space between the top of your head and the bottom of your video box. So you don't want your head being cut off, but you also don't want a ton of headroom like this as well. Fill that screen. Think of how your favorite news anchor is framed on the news desk when they are presenting the news on a single shot. It is a fairly tight shot, similar to this one, and that allows the audience, in this case, your client or potential client or whomever it is, to really look into your eyes. And that is super helpful in building your credibility, your authority, and your trust, sort of that like, no trust factor. What I'd like to talk about now is lighting. Lighting is so very important. A lot of people think, oh, lighting is not what I want when I am sort of feeling down in the dumps, or this is the 85th Zoom call I've done for the day, and holy cow, I'd rather have a paper bag over my head. Nevertheless, really great lighting is a game changer when it comes to looking your best on camera. And it does a couple of things. Number one, really great full, soft fill lighting erases wrinkles and blemishes and dark circles under your eyes and all that other good stuff that is aesthetically motivated, but aesthetics with a purpose, meaning your purpose is to help amplify your message and make sure that it's received in the way that it was intended and that people are paying attention. If you are sitting with a bright light source behind you and not directly in front of your face, you're going to be shot in silhouette. And when you're shot in silhouette, you prevent your audience from looking directly into your eyes. You're shot, in essence, undercover. It's what the news crews do. So make sure that your audience is able to look into your eyes and see your facial expressions. It's one of the reasons that video is so important. So sit with the brightest light source in your room in front of you. And if you need to, add some additional lighting. I have 2 ring lights up into the sides of my computer. They are daylight, meaning neutral light ring lights, and each one is about 10 to 12 inches, and they don't take up a lot of space behind my computer. Full lighting is super important in making sure that you present in the best way possible. Doesn't always mean just lighting on your face, though. Sometimes it means lighting in the background. So it's very, very subtle. But I want you to see if you can see the difference between this background here and this background here. This background is very dark. And as the sun goes down, these 2 spots in my room get very dark, which means you visually is distracting. It makes the shot less pretty, and it sort of downgrades your video appearance. What I have back here, and I don't have lit up here for the sake of discussion, is a very small background light purchased on Amazon, $20, and it's sitting on the floor, and it provides a little contrast and a little light in the background so people aren't staring into a black hole, if you will. I also like to have a little bit of distance. I have about 10 feet between me and the wall behind me. You don't need to have that much, but avoid sitting up against a wall and giving yourself that hostage effect. Having some depth behind you or something going on behind you will give your shot some visual interest, some depth, and it's just a better looking shot as well. Now, when it comes to how you pop out of your shot, don't do what I'm doing right now. I am wearing a pattern. I can get away with wearing a pattern because I'm very familiar with the light in my office and I'm familiar with how the camera works. I wore this for the sake also of demonstration. Wearing a pattern can be distracting. And if you have a lot going on in your background, you can sort of fade in with all that chaos and busyness. You want to, if you can, look crisp and clean and precise. What does that mean? Well, 2 means solid colors, but 2 colors that you need to avoid: black and white. Those will make a bad lighting situation even worse. So what do I suggest instead? Anything that's a solid, bright color, whether that means red or emerald green or orange or a brand color if it's appropriate. If you are unsure about what to wear, go with blue. Blue is universally flattering. There is not a single person out there on whom blue looks bad. If you're in doubt, blue is the way to go. I'd also like to talk about your delivery. The camera eats energy for lunch. And one of the surest ways to look and sound less enthusiastic than you feel is to forget that the camera eats energy for lunch. So I want you to vary your pitch and your pacing. I want you to pronounce. I want you to project. You're speaking to the person in the back of the room. And I really want you to amp up your energy level. Make sure that the way that you are delivering your information is as enthusiastic as you want it to sound. Because here's the deal: body language and nonverbals, they punch up, words punch down. Nonverbals has to do with the energy and the facial expressions and the nonverbal cues with which you deliver your message. So if you say, I'm super excited about this, but you don't say it like that, and you instead say it like this, I'm super excited about this, you can see the difference, right? And that lends me to my final point, and that's about your voice. Your voice is so important when it comes to your video. You can have a pristine video, but if your audio sounds like garbage or people can't understand what you're saying, they're out. It doesn't matter how great your video is. I record with a professional grade podcast mic. I use the blue. It's either the blue Snowball, which is what I'm using right now, or the blue Yeti. It creates a deeper, more resonant audio. I'm going to unplug it though now and let you take a listen to the difference between that and my internal mic on my laptop. And I have a very nice new laptop. You can hear the difference. Let me plug it back in now. and let you hear the difference in audio between using your internal microphone and using one that you have externally and attached to your laptop or your computer. If you have questions, you know where to find me. But I am super glad and excited to see that you have decided to take a chance on the power of video when it comes to coaching, connecting, and communicating.